Yeah, so going into that 2013 Ashes, we'd had a really good period. Well, right from 10-11 winning in Australia, getting to number 1 in the world, beating India in India for the first time in 20 odd years, I think. So we were in a good place as a team. We were confident, and everyone felt like they were in a good place.
No other sporting rivalry has created such interest, controversy and folklore, and here we are in the middle of the ground. Alistair Cook is walking past me on the way to go and toss the coin, and we're waiting for that moment now so this latest series can get underway. It's a bit of a cool day.
The team itself was as good as I've played in, really. We had all bases covered. We had strength at the top of the order, you know, in terms of them being able to get through tough periods with the new ball. We had attacking players in the middle order, Peterson, Bell, Pryor. We just had all bases covered. We had Graham Swan, who was the best spinner in the world at the time, and a good seam attack, good group of seam bowlers. So we were confident that we had every base covered to be able to be really challenging.
Here come the batsmen, Alistair Cook and Joe Root opening the batting for the first time in a test match. We're awaiting the arrival of the Red Arrows any moment, if they're on time, and they certainly are. We'll see those Hawk jets flashing over the ground in a minute, pouring smoke behind them, which I hope doesn't put the batsmen off, but out they go. A real firm punch of the gloves there between the two batsmen as they walk out, striding out, looking very purposeful, full of intent. There they come, they're coming round over to our left. Magnificent, look at that. Red, white and blue streaming behind them as those Hawk jets on a bank about a 45-degree angle fly just past the left-hand side of Trent Bridge and away into the distance and up to the north. Fantastic, what a start, and let's hope that the cricket lives up to the expectation.
I can't remember it feeling any different to any other test match, really. First test match of a series is obviously excitement. There is expectation. You're not quite sure what's going to happen, what the wicket's going to be like. There's all these sorts of things that you're wondering what it's going to be like. There's the anticipation of it. So I can't remember being any more nervous than we normally would be.
The pitch has got cracks in it. You know, I think it'll play well for 2 or 3 days, but throughout the test match you have to say batting first is a big advantage.
Here comes Alistair Cook. Well, that's first blood, isn't it?
Well, it's one of the things done today, but you know, the most important thing is how we bat with it. You do think we might swing early for the first bit, but it looks a very, very good wicket and a dry wicket, so I think it's the right decision.
Ready.
Here comes Patterson in now, bowls to Cook, the first ball, he's there. It's a short one and Cook pulls away. Wide. It flies across his chest, wide, England are underway. Well, I brought in Steve Harmison, he bowled a terrible ball, didn't he, at Brisbane all those years ago. That wasn't really far away from it, it was short, it was wide.
The general feeling was it was slightly under par.
And Siddle it is, in now to Root, he's up there, he bows. Root bowls him, and Siddle has got the wicket.
Here's Pattinson bowling short. It's in here, corner cover. An absolute lolly catch. Poked out there to Hughes. And they end the innings with a real whimper there, England. They're scampering off the field. Everyone's running off the field. And it's 215 all out.
England are in trouble. Doesn't mean to say they've lost the game, but they're in big trouble. Let me tell you, if you're in that dressing room with only 215 on a dry pitch, you're thinking, hang on, we didn't do very well here.
We'd have to bowl very well. The thing about Trent Bridge is, you know, it's generally going to get better as a batting wicket. So we knew that we could be up against it if we don't bowl well. So yeah, that was the main thought, was we were a little bit under, so we need to just do everything we can in the field to try and pull it back.
Finn from the pavilion end runs in and bowls to Cowan, who drives, and it is caught and slip, and Finn's on a hat-trick. Cowan's out first ball, and listen to that noise. What a comeback. And what a remarkable day.
We knew we needed to bowl well. We did bowl well. We got them 9 down quite cheaply.
Anderson again. Rogers hit on the pad. An appeal for LBW. Out. Anderson to bowl. Pitching up. And he drives again and he's nicked it. He's out. Well bowled by Anderson.
Anderson again. He's up to the wicket. In bows Siddle. Short Siddle goes and he's caught behind. A brilliant catch there by Pryor. He nibbled at it. It was short. Pryor went like a porpoise to his right. Oh no, that he's gone behind. He's gone. He nibbled at that bat away from body. It left him a bit. Pride took it low down by his boot tops, flung it aloft. The 8th wicket has gone, 8 for 114.
Yeah, I think Michael Clarke, that was probably one of the best balls I ever bowled, to be honest.
It's Anderson now, 3 steps in the gully. They go down on a short mid-wicket.
I mean, I can remember it quite vividly, which is strange for me because I don't really remember wickets that much.
Anderson is in, now up to the wicket, bowls now to Clarke. Clarke comes forward to the field, he's gone, he bowled him. He came half forward and he bowled, and Anderson has got the wicket that England wanted the most.
I was just trying to wobble the seam and hit an area. I wasn't really trying to do anything fancy with it.
Clarke is out, it's 22 for 3, and my goodness me, this game is being stood absolutely on its head.
But every now and then when you let go of a ball, you think that has gone exactly where I want it to, and it might do something.
And the crowd really almost can't believe it. An extraordinary dismissal.
Just there's this feeling off your fingers that you think it might just nip away that because of the way it felt coming out my hand. And then it pitched exactly where I wanted it to and then beat the outside edge.
Well, that's just a great delivery. Jimmy Anderson has impressed me for a long, long time. He's an exceptional bowler and he can produce deliveries like this.
I didn't realise it had bowled him at first because it was that finer clip on the stump. But yeah, the feeling when I sort of followed through past him and saw the bail on the ground was pretty special.
Nearly the perfect delivery.
One of, if not the best ball I bowled.
So 9 wickets are down for 117.
Probably the one thing we did was slightly underestimate Ashton Agar.
The 19-year-old left-arm spinner who was chosen so surprisingly for this test match is the last man. He's coming out. He's now locked in conversation with Hughes.
Get ready to bat Alistair Cook and Joe Root. It's not going to be long.
No one had really played against him before. No one really knew what he could do.
19 years of age, Ashton Agar. Somehow he's got to try and score a few runs.
Batting at 11, so we thought if he's batting behind, Siddle, Pattinson, players like that, then he can't be that good. But I think that obviously, maybe because it was his debut, wasn't it? So I think they maybe was protecting him slightly first game.
Into bowl to Agar, who plays that nicely, gets his first run at least in Test cricket. England have a man back on the cover boundary, and he is off the mark.
So yeah, we slightly underestimated him, I say, and he batted very well.
And it's pulled away massively there by Agar, and it's gone for 4 runs.
He's after that short ball. He's hit that hard down to the boundary. That's 4 more. This fella is batting extraordinarily well.
Clipped away into the onside. That's a good-looking shot from Agar. He's going out towards the boundary. Fielder after it. I don't think he'll get there. He won't. The ball wins. 4 more.
Agar's down the wicket, has a tremendous swing at that, and that's gone all the way, surely. Yes, it's gone into the pavilion for 6 runs. That was a prodigious stroke.
Australia have been kidding everyone worldwide for the last year. They've been secretly hiding this kid.
So that's hit up as she's on the ground. 4 runs. Brilliant stroke. Up towards the pavilion. That was a magnificent blow.
Oh, and forward comes Agar and gets it's his 50. Goes down to a deep backward point, and it's his 50.
An amazing knock by Ashton Agar, made in partnership as well. Unbelievable innings, and he's come out and just played it like falling off a log.
The highest score by a number 11 on his debut in Test cricket.
I can't remember having plans for Agar. And yes, you go through all the team. You go through the full team and 1 to 11 and try and figure out what their strengths are, how to get them out, what their weaknesses might be, and how you're going to bowl at them. And for some reason, I just can't remember having anything on Agar. And again, when you get them 120 for 9, you think this guy's batting behind he's batting 11, so he can't be that great. And maybe you start chasing it a little bit, sort of played into his hands, and yeah, he obviously played very well.
Agar 98, 2 runs away from a maiden Test century.
Feed up, everyone. All the superstitions you have, bring them into play right now. I think the world is willing this man to get 100.
There were 11 guys on the field not wanting to get 100, even if the rest of the ground did. I feel like he was out at deep mid-wicket.
Broad comes in and bowls to Agar. Agar swings the short ball away. He could be caught. He's out. He's caught in the deep. He's out for 98. A wonderful debut comes to an end. An extraordinary performance. And the short bowler's got him as he tugged at it and hit it hard into the onside. Australia all out for 280.
He played a few big shots throughout the innings and went for one too many.
The innings of his life comes to an end. Almost unfairly denied 100. He took the bowling on as he had throughout. And listen for the applause. Some of the England players have run up to congratulate him as he makes his way off the field. A magnificent performance on debut from Ashton Agar, out for 98.
A slightly disappointing way to finish, not so close to his 100, but that's incredible. He should be very proud of himself.
Yeah, I think we did chase the last wicket a little bit. I think, sometimes, especially if they can bat, and sort of plays into their hands a little bit, and that's exactly what it did that day. We chased it, maybe took our foot off the gas a little bit, which wasn't really like us. We were pretty ruthless in that period. We bowled many teams out around that time, but just didn't quite happen for us that time. Just want to bowl them out. You want to get the lead, get the first innings lead, and it just didn't happen for us. We just got it slightly wrong, I think, in that period, and then they end up getting a 60-odd run lead.
England openers in Root and Cook have just walked on the field. They'll be keen to make amends for what's just happened in the last few overs.
What an astonishing test match this has been. And who would dare try and write the script for what we're going to see now? Australia are a lead of 65. It was unthinkable at 117 for 9, wasn't it? But this is the beauty of cricket. You just do not know what's going to happen.
Agar coming in, drawing him forward. He edges, he's caught at slip. He's caught by Clark. Agar's first in Test cricket, and he's dismissed the England captain for 50.
Peterson drives, that's gone through the covers for 4 runs. A magnificent throw, that's his 50.
Pattinson comes in and bowls a ball. It's punched off the pads, the toes, away to deep mid-wicket. Agar's out there, and a half-century to Bell. Well battled Bell, ding-dong.
Broad hits this uppishly through the offside. It's going out for Fox Road, stand for 4.
He's swung away lustily by Broad. It's gone high. Will it be caught in the deep? It's a tricky one. It bounces, and it's not cut off inside the rope out there. And this partnership has pushed England up to a lead of 226.
The revs that are being recorded by Agar. Broad's out. He's out. He's flicked that away to slip, I think. It's been taken by Clark. They're appealing, and Alin Dar hang on, Alin Dar's saying not out. Australia have got no reviews left. Broad's coming up leaning on his bat. That looked to me as if it edged it straight to slip, and Alin Dar's saying not out, and the Australians are furious, absolutely furious.
You've no reviews left, lads.
I can only really remember the aftermath of that incident. I don't really remember the happening at the time. Don't know whether that was because I don't know, I might have been getting treatment or something, but yeah, I just remember this being a bit of a commotion. Went to see what was going on and then saw it on the TV, and it looks worse than it actually was. It was a fine nick that hit the keeper's gloves and went to first slip.
Broad hasn't walked. He's wandering up and talking to Ian Bell. They're standing there, and Alin Dar is coming down to talk to somebody. He's handing a cap back to the bowler. Now, let's have a look at the replay. It looked to me as if he just run it off the bat straight to slip. Let's have a look. And he did. Straight off the bat. Straight off the wicket keeper's bat. Let's have a look. He's edged it from outside the off stump. It's just flicked, had it on the way through, and Clark takes a simple catch. He's out. And I don't blame Australia for being really, really knocked about that, for goodness sake.
Stuart is someone who doesn't walk, and he's quite happily said, even if he knows he's hit it, he doesn't walk. And I think a lot of Australians have famously come out and said they're walkers, and I don't know if they do this just to try and trick the umpire into thinking that if they're standing there, then they must not have hit it because he's a walker. I think Adam Gilchrist probably the most famous one. He said he walked every time he nicked it, which hats off if he did, but I can't quite believe it. But Stuart, yeah, he's quite happy to say he doesn't.
Came off the wicketkeeper's pad though, didn't it?
Well, no, Jeffrey.
It did, Jonathan.
Well, eventually, look at it. He came off the edge of the bat.
After he hit it.
Look at that. He's nicked it straight.
Oh, dear.
I think it might just have flicked Haddin's glove. And Clark takes the catch. that's out in anywhere you want. And it's disappointing, I must say, to see someone standing for that. But Broad is not walking. He stood there. There are no reviews left.
But Stuart, being Stuart, stood there quite confidently. Actually, he looked like he was nowhere near it in his facial expressions, and then obviously it kicked off a little bit after that.
Now that's another ridiculous one. This is played by Bell out into the offside, and well, there's some ill feeling out there now, and I'm not surprised. I'm sorry. That's a real terrible mistake by the umpire. I can't see why he hasn't given that out.
Oh, that is a shocker.
Yep.
I'll be honest to all Australians, that's a shocker.
If you are Australian, though, you will say that Broad should not be there.
Stuart Broad has taken so many of the headlines this morning. The Mirror says, ban Stu. Broad tramples over the spirit of the game. The Express, on edge Broadcatch row as Ashes hit fever pitch.
I mean, they had burnt their reviews, so they kind of their fault as well. Stuart would say it's down to the umpire to make a decision. He decided he didn't think it was out, and so he's quite within his rights to stand there.
Custody again, Bowes, and that's caught there at short mid-wicket. He played it off his pads, and it was Hughes there who took the catch. Anderson has gone second ball for naught, and Finn at the other end is 2 not out. 311 is Australia's target.
We thought it was in the balance. We thought it's very gettable on that wicket, and again we knew we'd have to bowl pretty well to you know, there's a strong team like Australia, they'll feel like they can chase down anything, so we knew we'd have to bowl well.
And England come out, they go into their huddle.
There it is, the Australian batsmen walk out onto the wicket as well. Watson and Rogers there.
In now comes Anderson, bowls to Watson. That's played away off his pad for 4 runs. Wide of mid-on. What a fine stroke that was. It was there, asking for it.
I remember they got off to a decent start.
It's Anderson again, into Watson. He's up the wicket, he bowls, and Watson turns that round the corner, and that's gone away through mid-wicket for 4 runs.
Rubbish. He bowled outswing, it's 2-leg stumpish. He got a ball off stump, make him drive through the covers. That's poor bowling.
I remember at a break, David Saker had said to put a mid-wicket catcher into Rogers and bowl the odd off-cutter in there, bowl round the wicket normally, and then the odd sort of slightly slower off-cutter.
Anderson pitches up, and it's whipped to the onside. He's bowled it. My goodness, he chipped it to mid-wicket. Chipped it. That's what he's done.
Literally the first one I bowled at him, he chipped it straight to Ian Bell at mid-wicket. So I remember celebrating, like pointing at the balcony.
And the catch is lollied away on the onside, and he is out for 52. Just when he was looking set, a huge wicket for England. 3 for 124.
Just those things never really came off for me. Feels like the first time one of those plans actually worked. Then I remember bowling a really long spell later in the innings and got on a bit of a roll. I think the wicket was that flat, we only had 1 slip in, and we sort of trying to protect the boundaries a little bit as well because we were getting close to the target. I remember getting, I think I got Agar out actually, caught Cook at slip.
Anderson it is, he's in again to Agar, he's there, he bowls, Agar. Oh, what a catch! He's caught, he's gone, he's gone, he nibbled at that, and he has gone, caught there in the slips. That was the breakthrough that England so desperately needed, and Anderson is the man who has done it, and my goodness me, that was, talk about the relief of Mafeking, that's the relief of Trent Bridge, it really was, because everything was going Australia's way, but now 207 for 7. That wicket has brought England back into the game just when it really did look as though Australia had mounted the top of the hill.
Then Stark caught Cook as well.
Anderson in bright sunshine bowls to Stark, like edges, he's caught, that first slip by Cook. Anderson's done it again. England are moving towards victory. 100 to win, but only 2 wickets left. It's 211 for 8. You cannot keep Anderson out of the action.
And then Siddle, I remember, he dropped a couple. Cookie at slip.
In goes Anderson, bowls, edged and dropped! Dropped by Cook at slip. He's taken 2 today. That was to his left, and that one's gone down.
I was frustrated, and he took an absolute blinder, diving away to his right to get rid of Siddle.
So in goes Anderson, edged, and a wonderful catch! A brilliant catch by Alistair Cook, who kept Anderson on. He's taken his 4th wicket, but that was as good a catch, I reckon, as we'll see all summer. He took off absolutely full length to his right at slip and came up with the ball. It's not quite Andrew Strauss here in 2005, but I'll tell you what, it's not far away.
That was the first 4, and again, yeah, bowling that long spell, it felt really satisfying getting those wickets, you know, getting the rewards for putting in hard work, so I was pretty happy with that.
As the number 11 Pattinson comes out to bat.
9 down with plenty left to win, 80 to win. You don't think it's going to happen, but you feel on top, especially for me as a bowler. I felt in good rhythm, I was on a roll, just got a few wickets, and then they just start building a partnership.
In goes Finn, bowls to Haddin, who heaves him away into the leg side. He's carted him away, and that's going to go for 4 runs.
Haddin's such a good player, was such a good player, like he could hit any ball anyway, sort of quite awkward to bowl at.
Haddin waits, Finn's on the way, bowls to him, and he slams him for 4. Past mid-on, who dived there to his left. This is horrible for Finn. And Finn runs in again, he's there, and he bowls to Haddin, who heaves him away into the leg side. That's going to be 4 more. It's like one-day cricket.
So we're, again, you know, obviously trying to protect the boundaries a little bit with him. Then Pattinson got a few away, I think I remember, and he ended up with 20-odd. And they just kept chipping away and getting closer and closer.
Swan comes in and bowls, and Pattinson swings him lustily out into the deep. That's a good tonk. Thank you very much. That's 6.
What a shot!
Swan bowls again, and he swings at this. He's hit that hard. He's hit that high. He caught. It could have been. He's dropped it. He's dropped it. Finn's dropped it at deep backward square. 22 to win.
And I think there was a break just before we actually got the last wicket.
Australia have got to lunch. They only need 20.
And I was absolutely cooked by this point. Bowled 30 overs in the innings, 50 odd in the game. And then, we had a chat at tea about just trying to, I think it was Matt Pryor stood up and gave a bit of a rousing talk, team talk. And then I was sort of cowering in the corner, hoping the captain wasn't going to say, you're going to bowl after tea. But sure enough, he came over and said, do you mind carrying on after tea? So I remember going out and just thinking, right, one last push.
Let's have a look. It's Anderson's taking his cap off. Let's get there first of all. They have looked very, very purposeful, and so too Australia. And Matt Pryor's having a chat there to both the batsmen as they walk out. I suspect there's a friendly chat, knowing Matt. 296 for 9, 15 more to win.
Again, went for the off-cutter actually against Haddin.
Anderson runs in, bowls outside the off stump. He drives his appeal for a catch behind. What's Alan Dar going to do?
And he tried to cover drive it, and it just nipped back slightly off the wicket. Went through to Matt Pryor.
Australia have no reviews. He's given it not out. England do have a review available, and they're taking it.
I didn't hear a thing. He heard it. Alistair Cook heard it at first slip, so they've reviewed it. I was quite shocked. I honestly didn't think he'd hit it.
Well, I have to be honest, Anderson didn't appeal. He joined in late. I don't think he thought that he edged it. Alim Dar's given it not out.
I actually then looked at Haddin and sort of mouthed, did you hit that? And he was like, yeah, I've hit it. So he sort of knew at the time that we'd won the game.
Pryor looked pretty confident.
There'd be an irony to this if his technology is going to finish
edge if
this game.
There is anything.
It's carried, it's gone past the inside edge.
But obviously you still go through that. You still never 100%, with snicker or hot spot, is it going to actually show up? Because it was such a fine nick.
Oh, hot spot.
No, as he hit his pat.
That's a hot spot.
That could be a hot spot. It could be a hot spot. It could be the faintest hot spot.
And then watching the big screen, waiting for the decision to come, and then it was just, you heard the crowd roar, and then we just ran off celebrating.
He's given it!
England win the match by 14 runs on the thinnest, faintest hot spot. Australia's batsmen stand there, absolutely devastated. And look at Alistair Cook, he's punching the air. They're all round each other. Anderson takes his 5th wicket, his 10th of the match. Can there ever have been a more dramatic finish? Well, the answer, of course, there have been. It's just that when these things happen, you never feel that there can possibly have been. I don't know. 14 runs. The tension for poor old Murray Erasmus there, having to look and look and look again at that hot spot. The faintest little feather was all that it was. And the way that England appealed for it, they were only semi-sure. It wasn't one of those massively confident appeals. and England have won, and we're looking up there at the England balcony, shaking hands as Anderson walks off. He's mopping his brow.
I remember just sitting down I sit in the corner at Trent Bridge by the sort of doors to the balcony, the viewing balcony. I just remember sort of sitting down and not wanting to get back up. I just wanted to go to sleep. I felt that drained, mentally and physically, just drained from playing in such a sort of up and down test match. Emotionally it was up and down, but yeah, and then I think it's just sort of relief. And, you've been pumped with adrenaline for 5 days, and then all of a sudden it's over and you sort of just back down to earth, and yeah, it does hit you quite hard.